Now the latest from ITV News Meridian with Fred Dinage and Sangeeta Barbara.
Welcome to a very special edition of ITV News Meridian. I'm here live at Southampton Docks, where today the Queen officially named Britain's newest and biggest cruise liner.
I name the ship Britannia. May God bless her and all who sail in her.
Ruling the waves, a massive bottle of wine from Sussex, celebrities and 5,000 passengers and crew. Massive celebrations on this royal occasion.
I name the ship Britannia.
It was the name of her favourite ship. We look back to 1953. And we're on board live for a tour of her modern-day namesake. 18 decks in all.
From the studio, I'll have all the day's news, including the thinning blue line, as hundreds of frontline police officers are axed.
Good evening to you. Welcome to Southampton Docks on what really has been a sparkling day. It's a sea of red, white and blue here today because today the Queen has officially named Britain's newest and biggest cruise liner, Britannia, and here she is in all her splendour. Waiting now to go off on her maiden voyage. On board some 5,000 passengers and crew, a sprinkling of celebrities, all very excited because this really has been a day of celebration. The celebrations in actual fact began last night with a huge firework display, and people said you could hear it and see it from miles around. This ship, of course, is British through and through, British in design. Much of the food and drink on board is British also. Indeed, the bottle of sparkling wine used to launch her today is from the Whiston estate in Sussex. In a few moments, we shall be talking to the chairman of P&O, David Dingle. But first, Mike Pearce looks back on what really has been a royal day.
A very traditional ceremony to name Britain's biggest ever superliner. The bands of the Royal Irish Guards and Portsmouth-based Royal Marines played before the Queen, accompanied by the Duke of Edinburgh, was asked to name Britannia. She stood under the ship's 300-foot-long Union flag, the biggest ever.
I name the ship Britannia. May God bless her and all who sail in her.
The bottle was in fact not champagne but sparkling wine from Sussex, to keep everything British in tradition with the ship. Britannia was blessed by the Bishop of Southampton.
Bless Britannia and all those who sail in her, this day and forevermore.
The ceremony was attended by 2,000 people, including many from the world of entertainment, along with local politicians.
I just thought it was amazing, honestly. It was just made you proud to be British. I was really excited to be here and I was honoured, actually.
Absolutely perfect, as we Brits tend to do. I mean, and even the sun came out as well.
Great ceremony, it's a lovely big old ship, isn't it?
Everything's been thought about to get it right. I can't wait to sail on it.
It's a brilliant day for the city. It's great for Southampton's reputation as a cruise capital. It's just a wonderful event as well.
After the official naming, the royal party toured the ship. There were 3 cheers from many of the 1,200 crew.
Hip, hip, hip. Hooray! Hip, hip, hip. Hooray! Hip, hip, hip. Hooray!
Then it was off to the bridge. But was someone trying to get through to Her Majesty on the phone?
the phone rang. What happened there?
So the best laid plans, I don't know. I simply picked up the handset, put it on the side and let somebody else deal with it.
You don't know who it was?
I have no idea and I don't really care at this moment, but great timing, not.
But a good day all round?
Oh, fantastic, absolutely. Couldn't have wished for a better day. You know, the entertainment on the dockside, the Red Hot Chili Pipers, Rob Brydon was just amazing.
And before leaving, there was time for lunch on board the very British vessel.
So, great celebrations here today with the Queen's visit, and now Mike is up there somewhere with rather a special guest.
Yes, indeed, I'm on the very top here and yeah, getting a little bit chilly, but a great day. And I think one of the great things today was the weather was absolutely perfect. Well, of course, what they now have to do is sell the holidays on this ship. With me is David Dingle, the chairman of the company here. Good day.
It's been a tremendous day, Mike. It's been a great day for Britannia, for P&O Cruises, and of course for Southampton.
Now, of course, you know, we're seeing a lot of new cruise ships coming on. We're seeing, you're selling holidays for as cheap as £600 for 10 days. Are you going to have trouble filling the ships?
We're very confident that Britannia is going to sell very well indeed. It's already over 70% sold for this season, and I think that clearly we're going to get a great boost from the festivities today. I'm very confident that we're going to fill this ship. Whenever we've introduced a new ship into P&O Cruises in the past, it's created such a boost, so much more awareness, so many more people realising what a wonderful thing a cruise is, and that drives bookings up.
And briefly, more bigger ships, is that going to cause problems in Southampton, or have you dealt with that?
No, Southampton is fantastically well equipped for cruise ships, and at the moment 2 of our terminals are being refurbished so that they can continue to take large ships like this one. It's a great future for us here in Southampton.
David Dingle, thank you very much indeed for joining us. And of course, every time a ship calls, it's worth around £2 to £3 million for the local economy, so the more, the better.
Thanks, Mike. And for more on today's events and indeed further footage, do go to our website, ITVMeridian.com. I'll see you again shortly with tales of 16,000 meals a day and with news of how superliners like this can generate millions of pounds for the local economy. Before that, though, back to the studio and Sangeeta.
Thank you, Fred. Other news now, when 500 frontline police officers are to be cut from Sussex Police as the force tries to save more than £50 million over the next 5 years. It's not the only force making cuts. Hampshire Constabulary are aiming to save £80 million by 2017, whilst Thames Valley Police has already trimmed £58 million from its annual budget of £400 million. Meanwhile, Wiltshire Police has to save £15 million. As Derek Johnson now reports, another 500 back office staff from the Sussex Force will also lose their jobs.
The Chief Constable outlining what the force is calling a new police model, a way of absorbing another £57 million of savings in Sussex on top of the £50 million budget cuts so far. There will be 700 fewer staff in future. That new model includes combining police districts, working more closely with Surrey Police, new mobile technology, greater training to reduce the need for specialist officers, and a new centre giving online and phone advice to callers before frontline police officers are involved or dispatched.
We will be a small organisation than we have been before. We will have to prioritise our efforts to where the greatest threat, risk and harm is. What that actually means is we are an emergency service at our core, and we will be there when the public want us to be there as an emergency service.
There is another way, of course. You're allowed to hold a referendum to try and get the council tax and the police precepts raised so you can keep staff at Sussex Police. Have you considered that?
Well, I've already raised local taxpayers' money this year and last year to pay for additional resources around child sexual exploitation and cybercrime. So the rebilling of everything, if the referendum is negative, would be so costly at a time when police budgets are under real pressure. I don't think it's acceptable to do that.
There has been a lot of talk here about making genuine efficiencies and coping with the new demands of policing. The truth is, though, that many residents may see fewer officers on their streets and in their neighbourhoods in future, and there's the obvious challenge of trying to cover the same area with fewer staff. Derek Johnson, ITV News, Lewis.
Police forces across the south say they have lost track of a number of sex offenders. 11 registered offenders are wanted by Sussex Police, including one who went missing 9 years ago. Official figures also reveal 5 are wanted in Wiltshire, 4 in Hampshire and 3 in Dorset. In Surrey, 2 sex offenders have been missing since 2012. Non-urgent operations at St Mary's Hospital on the Isle of Wight are being cancelled all this week. Bosses say it's due to an unexpected surge in demand for health services. 30 operations were cancelled yesterday and today. Meanwhile, new figures show more than 200 operations were cancelled at hospitals in Basingstoke, Winchester and Andover in January. A new £1 million visitor centre at the birthplace of novelist Thomas Hardy has opened in Dorset. The new centre near Dorchester was officially opened by the Downton Abbey screenwriter Julian Fellowes, who is president of the Hardy Society. And just before we return to Fred, on board Britannia, don't forget you can get all the South news on our website. Go to itv.com/Meridian. Any views or news, call us on 0808 1010 095 or Facebook and Twitter us. Well, it's been a busy day quayside today in Southampton as the Queen officially launched Britannia, Britain's biggest superliner. Her Majesty was accompanied by the Duke of Edinburgh and was given a tour of the new £500 million superliner, which is preparing for her maiden voyage. Over now to someone special on board, our very own Fred. Fred.
Sangeeta, thank you very much indeed. This, of course, the largest ship ever to be built for the UK cruise market. If you don't believe me, a few facts and figures for you now. She cost around £500 million and weighs 141,000 tonnes. She's 1,082 feet long, which is as tall as the Shard and the Eiffel Tower. She is 217 feet high, taller than Nelson's Column. Well, this is a record-breaking year for Southampton, with more than 400 ships calling at the port. For everyone that docks, it's estimated an extra £2.5 million is pumped into the economy. And it's not just money, of course, because thousands of jobs are supported by the arrival of these superliners. But it's not all plain sailing, so how does the city cope with the extra pressures? Richard Slee has our report.
When a cruise ship arrives in port, a small army of people get to work loading the supplies for its onward journey. Many tons of food and drink is provided by local firms, such as the Brewers Hall and Woodhouse, based in Blandford, Dorset. The long-standing family-owned business is supplying 2 of its Badger beers.
It gives us exposure to a whole new set of drinkers, even internationally, which is wonderful for us. And it's good for employment, it's good for local economy, and it's wonderful to be associated with other local successful Southwest companies.
Hampshire artist Michelle Griffiths is also proud to be doing business on the ships. She was commissioned by P&O to provide 12 pictures for one of Britannia's upmarket restaurants, including this 12-foot wide abstract seascape.
Because it's a showcase like no other, with people being able to see the work, dining and looking at the paintings, and hopefully more commissions will come from this.
Over the past 10 years, the number of cruise passengers who pass through Southampton has grown from 500,000 to 1.5 million. But it's an increase that has put a strain on the local infrastructure.
Thousands more passengers every year should also be good news for taxi drivers. But getting into and out of the cruise terminals can be a problem, and that's not good for business.
It's like emptying a football stadium in the middle of a city centre and wondering why nobody can get anywhere, you know?
It's very headache, especially for taxi drivers, especially for taxis.
In recent years, millions of pounds have been spent improving the routes into the port, so the council now rejects the idea that the roads can't cope. But perhaps the biggest test of whether the city can cope with more big ships will come next month, when Royal Caribbean's Anthem of the Seas arrives in Southampton, bringing 5,000 passengers and 2,000 crew. Richard Slee, ITV News.
Of course, this is not the first time the Queen has named a ship Britannia. 62 years ago, she launched her royal yacht, and sadly for me, I can remember it. Well, that Britannia is now a tourist attraction, and our own Richard Jones has been aboard.
1953, the Clyde, and a young Queen names the yacht that went on to serve her and Britain for more than 40 years.
I name this ship Britannia. I wish success to her and to all who sail in her.
Today, Britannia is still afloat and hardly changed. She might have been a royal yacht, but Britannia was unlike any of today's modern cruise liners. There was no casino, no swimming pool, no chandeliers. There was very little ostentation and certainly no bling. And that's the way the Queen liked it. She and Prince Philip influenced her design, and they wanted her to feel like a home. The state drawing room is elegant rather than grand. The Queen's bedroom is comfortable, not luxurious. It's only the grand staircase and the dining room, both used for formal occasions, that really impress.
The royal family actually moved a lot of their own personal possessions on board to create a nice space where the Queen and Prince Philip could have the children and the family around them in an air of tranquility.
Britannia was decommissioned in Portsmouth in 1997. It's said to be the only time the Queen has ever shed a tear in public. On board, the clocks were stopped at 3:01, the very moment she left the ship for the last time. And that's how they remain today at her new home in Edinburgh, where she's one of the country's top tourist attractions.
People love Britannia, they love coming aboard, and we actually have people feeling quite emotional that they finally made it on board, this iconic ship that they've watched over decades, and it seems to have appealed to every generation.
The Queen has named more than 20 ships in her long reign, most recently the liner Queen Elizabeth and the aircraft carrier that also has her name. But none has ever captured her heart in the same way as her Britannia, the ship which she said was the one place where she could truly relax. Richard Jones, ITV News, Edinburgh.
So we've seen what this ship then looks like from the outside, but what about inside? Because it is pretty impressive. And I've been given a guided tour by the captain. Well, I'm here inside with the main man, the captain, Paul Brown from Midhurst in West Sussex. Lovely to see you. Rule Britannia, and I think she's going to, and we're here now in the very heart of the ship.
She is. She absolutely is going to rule Britannia. It's the atrium, it's the heart of the ship. We have shopping on the levels, we have cafes, coffee shops, restaurants and bars. It really is the absolute centre of the activities on board.
Feels more like a luxury hotel.
Well, absolutely. In fact, we use a five-star hotel design company based in the UK. We know our passengers are going to love her.
And you're going to love your job here, aren't you?
Absolutely. I think I've got the best job in the world today.
Paul, we're now in the kitchen, or one of the kitchens.
Fred, it is a kitchen. On a ship we call them galleys, but we have, yes, we're in one of the main galleys. We have 11 galleys on board the ship in total.
How many meals a day?
Well, we have a galley team of over 210. They work 24 hours a day to produce all of this amazing food on board. Something in the region of 16,000 meals consumed on board every day by our passengers and crew.
From kitchens to cheese and international Dorset cheese meister Charlie Turnbull, international judge, master of all things cheesy, feeding cheese to 3,500 passengers, a lot of it British.
Yeah, the British are at the top of the game right now. If you wanted to say who's the most innovative cheesemaker in the world, he would be British. But I've got one for you, very special.
Yes.
This one is made in the south of England.
Yes.
And would contest for being the best modern cheddar right now. Routinely wins most popular cheese at cheese shows. Just taste it, Star.
What's it called?
Godminster. Godminster Organic Vintage.
That is so good. Good luck with all the cheeses.
Thank you very much.
We're on floor 14, the bridge, and this is your domain.
It is, Fred, but I've got to correct you there. It's deck 14. Remember, we're on a ship now.
How do you control it, this monstrous ship? How do you park it?
Fred, it's docking.
Oh, sorry.
We dock the ship using our engines and our thrusters and rudder combined. She's a great handling ship, and it's a pleasure. So a little tight when we did dock in Southampton, but no, she's a fine ship, and look forward to many, many ports and destinations that we're going to visit.
Wish you all the best. Bon voyage.
Thank you, Fred. Thank you.
And you could see for yourself there what a grasp I've got on sailing terminology. Delighted to say one of the celebrity chefs on board is with me now, James Martin from Winchester. Played a big part in designing the menus on board.
Yeah.
Britannia, your feelings?
Massive, but yeah, amazing. There's nothing else like it. Nothing else when the numbers stack up, you know. 30 tonne of food a day we're going to get through. We've got 200 chefs downstairs. I'm one of sort of the 5 of us in charge of all the food and drink on here. But we've figured it out. We reckon 6 million meals a year.
No.
Yeah.
Designing menus and cookery lessons as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We're very hands-on in the kitchen. So as from Monday, I'm on board for 3 days. We've got cookery lessons in the morning and the afternoon, and then we've got a fantastic chef's table as well in the evening as well. So it's yeah, we're very much hands-on.
And a great emphasis on British food and drink on this ship.
Absolutely, everything from water from this neck of the woods as well. And I'm a huge fan because I'm a farmer's kid, so if I didn't, I'd be in trouble. But yeah, we've managed to we've got amazing lamb, but the quantities that we're buying is just incredible. But amazing produce.
A huge challenge for you. You had to give our own Simon Parkin a cookery lesson.
Yeah, that was different.
It was different, was it?
Yeah.
Let's see just how different it actually was.
OK, James, what are we doing?
We're doing my trademark dish, which is a white chocolate and whiskey croissant butter pudding.
OK.
It's never been off the restaurant menu for 20 odd years. So the first thing I need you to do is chop up the croissants. Keep your fingers like that. That way you end up leaving the ship with the same amount of fingers that when you came with. Fire this up so you get some nice heat on here. So straight into there. And then we need to infuse this. Hold it at one end and cut it right down the centre.
White's in there?
White's in there.
It's already going wrong, look.
Yeah.
Actually, I've seen you do this on Saturday Kitchen, but never quite like that.
Open up your fingers.
Yeah.
And the whites fall through, like that.
And the yolks do sometimes.
I think we might need a whole egg in there now, so just put that in there.
Do you think?
Yeah, you've unbalanced the recipe, but it's all right.
All straight in?
Well, to taste. Go on, all of it. All of it. That's it. And then try not to go overboard with this bit, but this is single malt whiskey.
Right. Do we taste that too?
You can try that if you want.
I'd rather not.
Yeah,
maybe. You might need it later.
You could try, maybe not put all of that in there, but you know. Just a wee dram. Whoop, yeah, that's it, love it. Right, now taste that.
Well, we stick my finger in.
Yeah, go on. Now that should taste
nice.
really good.
Nice. Yeah.
Now,
whisk this.
Whisk that. I can see by that action you don't spend much time in the kitchen. Pour that on there. The secret of bread and butter pudding is once you pour it and fill it up, leave it for 5 minutes, and then I'm going to fill it up again. This is what we'll end up with. That's mine. Have a taste.
It's a good-looking dish.
That's a white chocolate and whiskey croissant butter pudding.
Okay. I've got to drive home from here. Will I be all right?
You'll be all right, but...
That's very good.
Yeah, that's easy.
This is easy? What chance have I got?
Here he is with his culinary creation, Master Chef Simon Parkin.
Yeah, look, there it is. I mean, it does look good enough to eat, Fred.
It does, yes.
Are you brave enough?
Yes.
Well, I'm going to have a spoon for you here. Dig in.
I have to say, if it's got a shell in it, it's definitely his.
Here we go. What do you think? What's the verdict?
Do you know, it's actually very... Did you honestly do this?
Well, no, I didn't.
James,
this is one of James's. No. I think mine are controlled explosions.
His didn't survive, to be honest.
Not allowed to be consumed by humans. But
it's absolutely delicious. Did you learn anything?
Loads, but I can't tell you now, obviously.
Yeah. Mainly never to go back in the kitchen again.
James, thank you. Let's see what the weather's got in store. Here he is.
That's us driving on, us driving off in France, and us on the bridge.
Driving to Europe. Eurotunnel Shuttle sponsors ITV Meridian weather.
Well, I've snuck inside to one of the sumptuous bars to drown my sorrows that tomorrow won't be anywhere near as nice as today was. Clear spells to start the night though, nippy at first, but then from the southwest we'll see a bit of clouds start to roll in and possibly some patchy rain by first thing tomorrow morning. Nothing too major, just light drizzly stuff, but the cloud will increase and certainly as we head into the afternoon we'll see more persistent rain start to arrive from the west. Windy with it and so much cooler than today. Now your high tide times, well, you can see in Brighton 1:45 in the morning, then around 2:01 in the afternoon, and then a drier day on Thursday.
Eurotunnel Le Shuttle sponsors ITV Meridian weather.
Well, what a day. What a day. Dancing, music, a royal naming ceremony, and nice weather too, Sangeeta.
And apart from Simon's awful cooking, what's the best bit about being on board? What's the most luxurious part of it?
I think it's the sheer scale of the ship that really hits you. The spa is very, very impressive, and of course the restaurants really are fantastic. And I'm joined here again by a celebrity chef.
Yeah, the food's not a patch on the stuff I make.
Coming up, the national and the international news. But we're going to leave you now with a look back on a really memorable royal day in Southampton and the naming of this super liner. Truly a case of Rule Britannia. Good night.
I name the ship Britannia.
May God bless her and all who sail in her.